Hey guys, this is Mike, the Great Lakes Waterman. I just wanted to talk a little bit about downwind foiling, and I don't think there's too many people doing it on the Great Lakes, so I thought I'd share this video and hopefully a few more people get into it, give it a shot, and then I can go ride with some people and share this incredible, awesome, fun thing to do. So I come from a wind sport background, but I've always just loved the waves, just riding the waves, whether it's like surfing or SUP surfing or SUP foiling. And I always just was always geared kind of towards the waves. And so I got into foiling about 6 years ago with the kite. And then I got like a SUP foil board, and I was going out in the surf, like when the waves, after a big blow, dying wind, getting the leftover waves, seeing those videos, I was like, oh, the foil, is the equalizer, the answer for the Great Lakes, and it totally is. And just starting out on that SUP foil on like surf here was pretty humbling. I thought I would have a good handle on it just with kiting, windsurfing, and winging and foiling, but I went out in some pretty sloppy conditions on a SUP foil and just got worked. So I was like, oh, I'll try this again in a little bit cleaner conditions, and I got like up on it and went down the line like one time, the next time maybe did one turn, but it was like pretty slow progression, total beginner, total starting over. Like the most difficult thing is just catching that wave and being on the surface and then getting up on that foil. It just takes some reps to get in, but is totally possible and doable. And now, like, connecting up 3-4 waves in a row just with the SUP foil, not even really downwinding it, I mean, it's awesome. And so I played with that for a year or two, and then I was like, with the downwinding going on, there's this one spot here in Sarnia under the Blue Water Bridge. It's kind of like the gorge conditions where Lake Huron is funneling down into the river, and you get a strong south wind opposing that current, and you get the standing kind of waves. And I was always looking at that and, kited under there, windsurfed, winged under there, and I'm like, man, I know I can get one of those, and this is kind of not with one of those new downwind boards. And I finally got my skills up to there and gave it a shot and got a couple of waves. And I guess I've been downwinding now roughly like 2 years, and this was on the old style board, and just to be riding without pumping like a madman and getting like 1-2 minute long rides like in the river there, just under the bridge, kind of using the current to get me back, was just so much fun. And not having to worry about managing the kite or the wing, just when it comes to riding the waves, it's super pure, like so fun. And for all those all the wind sport enthusiasts, to give like kind of an analogy, comparing like kiting and winging and then downwinding, like winging is definitely a step up from kiting on a foil, and riding the waves, like easier to manage. You can kind of forget about it, but still you're doing a little bit of dance with the wing. You're holding it up high or getting it behind your back. Once you're going downwind and you meet the speed of the wind, and then it's kind of tricky to handle, and you might flip over. Anyways, downwinding, there's none of that. You can just solely concentrate on the waves and gliding, and it's so incredible. It's so much fun. And like my longest downwinder's been 20 kilometers long. It took me about an hour, and like just gliding for half an hour, connecting waves up. Oh, you gotta try it. It's so much fun. So starting out, like, was kind of on a more traditional board, and it is downwinding a little bit. It's hard getting up. It's taxing, and I practice a lot. But now with these new narrower downwind boards, it definitely makes it way more accessible, way more easy. That being said, you still have to put your practice in, and it's great to practice in flat water, and you still got to get it dialed in. But you know, if you want it, it's totally doable, and just getting easier and easier to do it. I mean, if I were kind of some learning experiences for me, like I'd maybe practice more on the flat water starting out, and if I was winging with a foil, I would really practice on not using the wing to kind of keep you up and going. Just see how long you cannot use the wing or not use the kite. If you got access to a boat, like, use that, try to ride the wake and get it really dialed in. Like, I do a little bit of it, but if I did more of that, it would have been an easier, smoother transition, and definitely get a one of those sweet narrow Barracuda style boards. Definitely a huge game changer. Another thing with downwinding is, like, you're so in touch with the waves, and it's like those bigger boards are making it easier, but you're always like planning or thinking, strategizing on the water, which is pretty fun. If you do wipe out, it is some work getting back up on the paddle. And if you have like a 20k run or 10k run, like, if everything goes smooth, it could be half an hour. If everything goes not so smooth, it could be 3 hours. Like, I've spent half an hour, 45 minutes just trying to get back on the foil, and after paddling up 3 or 4 times or 5 or 6 times, like, you're starting to get taxed and losing your pep in your step or pep in your paddle. You just don't have that power. So it's important to, you know, really wait for that perfect wave and watch that bow rise, and then start getting it. But it's just like anything else, put your practice in, and you'll make it happen. And it is possible on the Great Lakes. I mean, there's so much coastline and shoreline. It's endless. I hope some more people get into it, and we can do some long, epic downwinders. With that new style board I've gone out in conditions like from 15 knots, maybe gusting up to 20, and actually went out today, got like flat water paddle up, and just like mini, like, ankle high swell or knee high swell. But in the river it was like 15, maybe gusting 20 knots, and the wind speed was that, and the waves were about knee high, and like, I was getting up on the foil no problem with that new style board. And like, there wasn't that much fetch in the river there for the waves to build up of any size. Like, with the more like older school traditional board, like, I would have to have 25 knots, you know, plus to go out on. But not the case with this new gear. Like, you know, 15 knots on a north wind here on the bottom of Lake Huron, you're gonna get some nice swell. You could easily ride that and downwind that, no problem. And the other cool thing about downwinding is that, you know, wind sports or surfing, you're sitting in the water getting cold when the season is late or super early. And with the wind sport, you're not sitting in the water, but when you're tacking up wind, I mean, the apparent wind, you're going into it, you're getting blasted by the wind, and your hands can get cold and you get cold. But with the downwinding, you're going with the wind, and it takes away from the wind speed, and you're pumping and like creating heat that way. So I've been finding it super manageable in a nice winter wetsuit, not chilled at all, and going out in like 5 degrees air temperature, like keeping toasty warm. So that's pretty awesome too. Anyways, it's a lot of fun. It's so awesome. So give it a go. Thanks.